Hello everyone, this is Jeff Murrin, wanting to continue the discussion of the Iliad by Homer, translated by Robert Fagles. Continuing these backyard sessions, I guess, as it is. Anyway, we're going to look at Book 10, and Book 10 is titled Marauding Through the Night. Alright, so if you recall from Book 9, they all, like an entire embassy of people, envoys from Agamemnon, went to Achilles to say, hey man, we need you. We gotta have you, or if we don't have you, we may not make it, or we probably won't make it. And Achilles is still holding that grudge and still unwilling to relent and give in and help the Greeks, everybody, because of what he feels was such an unforgivable slight from Agamemnon. So, and if you recall, it's more than just he is refusing to fight, but you remember he talked to his mother and told his mother to then go talk to Zeus to make sure that the Greeks lost in battle. And as we can see so far, for the most part, that's how it's been playing out. The Trojans have been getting so much more leverage and so much more distance, pushing the Greeks back to their ships. And right now, as we see, the Greeks are on their heels. The Trojans are the ones who are really in control of things. Last time we saw them, they were sitting around just waiting with, the fires across the plains, thousands of them, to wait around for the day to return to fighting. And it's interesting because they're waiting through the day, or waiting through the night for the day. And when the day comes, they then will start fighting. And that's sort of a thing in this culture, this time, that, we allowed things to stop for the night. Everyone rested. When morning came again, we picked up our arms and we went right back to slaughtering our enemies. What we have here, if you notice the chapter of this, or the title of this chapter, Marauding Through the Night. All right? So we can see that the Greeks are going to take a different view of how to use the night than the Trojans. All right? And this will come back when we take a look at the Aeneid, written by Virgil, of the Roman account of how Rome was established, but it's linked to a lot of the things that we see from this particular book right here. So just keep in mind, the Greeks are handling the nighttime much differently than the Trojans are. All right? And the Greeks wonder, or not wonder, but we might wonder, reading this up to now, like, what is the deal? Why are the Trojans just having such success, and why do they, because this is written by Homer. Homer's a Greek. This is the Greek book of all time. What's the deal with the Trojans being so good? I thought this would be, this would be in their hands, but right now, while they're admitting we are the better warriors, we are the better people, they've got Zeus behind them, and we don't. And as long as that's the case, our idea is, as long as that's the case, I don't know what we're going to do. All right, we got to turn the tide somehow, but really they're winning because Zeus is on their side. All right, so let's take a look. Agamemnon can't sleep. Agamemnon can't sleep because, well, this is a rough time, all right? Who knows how this is going to play out, and they're not all that confident right now. So let's take a look at the very beginning of Book 10, Marauding Through the Night. So, by the ships and the other lords of Achaea's armies slept all night long, overcome by gentle sleep, but not the great field marshal Agamemnon. The sweet embrace of sleep could not hold him. His mind kept churning, seething, like Zeus's bolts when the lord of bright-haired Athena flashes lightning, threatening to loose torrential rain, or pelting hail or snow when a blizzard drifts on fields, or driving on somewhere on earth the giant jaws of rending war. So, epic simile, as this happens, so this happens, or like this happens, so this happens. So thick and fast the groans came from Atrides, wrenching his chest, heaving up from his heart, and rocked his very spirit to the core. Can't sleep like that. Okay. Now he scanned across the Trojan plains. He's looking out and he's going to see all these fires and all these things. Agamemnon marveled in horror at those fires, 1,000 fires blazing against the walls of Troy, and the shrill of pipes and flutes and the roar of men. And now he glanced back at Achaean troops and ships. He tore out his hair by the roots. He looked to Zeus on high, groaning from the depths of his proud, embattled heart. But soon this recourse struck his mind as best. He would go and approach the son of Neleus first, and see if Nestor could work out something with him. Some foolproof plan that just might ward disaster off the Achaean forces. He can't sleep. He realizes he's got to do something. He looks out there on the field, sees all those fires, and see those Trojans just ready for day, and he's like, we got to do something. All right, so what else do we have here? All right, we're going to move on. Menelaus needs to do something here, okay, is what my notes say. So 280, we're all in this predicament because we're fighting for Menelaus. Menelaus sent us out. Menelaus is the one whose wife has been taken and stolen by the Trojans, stolen by Paris, and so now what we got to do is we got to win her back for him. What's he done? All right? Yes, he stood up against Paris that one time. Yeah, that thing happened, but, a lot of us are fighting and doing all kinds of things. We haven't heard from him in a while. So we see about line 132. It says, but I will blame Menelaus, loved as he is honored. Even if you will wheel on me in anger, I must. I can't hide it now. How that fellow sleeps, turning over the work to you alone. Now is the time for him to work, to hunt the leading captains and beg them all for help. Desperate straits, we can't hold out much longer. So Agamemnon says, you're right, old soldier. I'd even urge you to use you to fault him any other day. So often he hangs back with no heart for the work. Not that he shrinks from actions skittish or off guard. It's just that he looks to me, waiting for me to make the first move. This time, though, he woke before me, came and roused me first, and I sent him off to call the men you're after. So let's move out, overtake the rest at the gates when the sentries, with the sentries where I ordered them to group. All right, so he goes on page 281, line 190, and prods Diomedes to wake from his sleep. Of course, let's get Diomedes. Diomedes, he's the one who's the last one we heard from in book 9. He's having a great success on the battlefield. Diomedes is kind of our de facto Achilles, since Achilles is gone and won't fight for us. So he gets Diomedes, and he says, on 281, the bottom says, so he prodded Diomedes, woke from his sleep with a quick start and a burst winging words. A hard man you are, old soldier, hard. He's talking to Nestor here. You give up the good fight, do you? Where are the younger troopers now that we need them? Why don't they go and wake each king in turn, padding softly up and down through the camp? You old man, you'll overpower us all. All right, the old people fighting, the young people fighting side by side. They go and they see the sentries on page 283. The sentries are awake and they tell them good job. It's very interesting that this is going on. It's very interesting how they're using the night, how they're staying awake through the night, how they're remaining on guard through the night. The Greeks are. So I'm saying this because I want you to keep these in mind as we continue on through reading this. It's just planting a little seed there for you. So let's see. Diomedes is deciding to go and do some spying. He takes a friend with him. He takes someone that he can trust. He takes the tactician Odysseus with him. All right, and you can see that on about line 281 on page 284. He suddenly feared for red-haired Menelaus, but Diomedes, strong with a war cry, answered, "Is that an order? Pick my own comrade," he says. "Then how could I pass up royal Odysseus here? His heart's so game, his fighting edge so keen. The best of us all in every combat mission. Athena loves the man." Okay, so, if Athena, I'm not just picking Odysseus. I'm picking Odysseus because he's got Athena behind him. If he got Athena behind him, that's some power, okay? Something besides just the sheer physical will, all right? And he compliments him that way. And Odysseus, I think this is very interesting here. Odysseus, the very next little section there, about line 290, it says, "Much adoring Odysseus cut short Diomedes," because Diomedes was complimenting and saying, "Oh, you're great, you're the best, and Athena's on your side, blah, blah, blah." Odysseus says, "Hey, man, wait, don't need that." He says, "Not too long on the praise. Don't fault me either. You're talking to Argive men who know my record. All right, let's move out. The night is well on its way and day breaks near. The stars go wheeling by. The full of dark is gone. 2 watches down, but the third still ours for action." Okay, so we still got time in the night. But it's interesting that he says, stop with this complimentary stuff. I don't need it. These guys already know me. My actions speak louder than my words, or whatever. And it's so interesting because as we move from this book, as we close this book, and we're finished with it, and we move on to looking at the Odyssey, it's his own braggadocious nature that gets him into all the hot water that he has to endure while trying to get himself back home from this particular war. All right, he can't keep his mouth shut. He can't do anything and just let somebody, or he can't just do something and move on. He has to do something and make sure that he gets credit for doing it. All right, so I think it's interesting to read Odysseus that way here, full well knowing the type of guy Odysseus will prove himself to be in the second book. Anyway, more on that later. 285, as the men go out, they don't see because it's pitch black night, but they hear a heron's wings flapping, and they know that this is a sign from Athena. They believe this is a sign from Athena, knowing that they will have success as they go out. And they are stalking, as you will see here, stalking on page 286, like 2 lions. That's about line 348 there, like 2 lions. That's an interesting little simile, and you'll see that here again towards the end of this book. All right, so we see that this is all happening and going on with the Greek side. Then let's turn and let's look at what's going on the Trojan side. Hector too is thinking, all right, maybe we need to check out what's going on, and they choose this guy, or Dolan, D-O-L-O-N. Dolan comes up, and he's the one who goes and he wants to check out what's happening with the Greeks. All right. So 371, this one volunteered among the Trojans. Quote, "Hector, the mission stirs my fighting blood. I'll reconnoiter the ships and gather all I can. Come, raise that scepter and swear you'll give me the battle team and the burnished brazen car that carried great Achilles. I will be your spy. And no mean scout. I'll never let you down. I'll infiltrate their entire army. I will, all the way till I reach the ship of Agamemnon. That's where the captains must be mapping tactics now, whether they'll break and run or stand and fight." How he bragged, and Hector, grasping his scepter, swore a binding oath. "Now Zeus, my witness, thundering lord of Hera, no other Trojan fighter will ride behind that team, none but you, I swear. They will be your glory all your life to come." All right, so Diomedes and Odysseus capture Dolan. All right, and they capture Dolan, and they get all kinds of information from him. All right, he sings like a canary. All right, because he says, okay, look, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything. I just, you know, you can use me for ransom. You can use me as a bargaining chip. Just don't kill me. Whatever you do, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. All right. So yeah, you know, his attitude of like, I'll go get him, Hector, and then he gets caught and whoop, not quite the same. All right. Page 289, line, let's say 435-ish. He flung his shaft, missing the man on purpose, over his right shoulder. The sharp spear point winged and stabbed the earth. Dead in his tracks, he stopped, terrified, stammering, teeth chattering in his mouth, bled white with fear as the two men overtook him, the two men, Diomedes and Odysseus, and panting hard, yanked and pinned his arms. He burst into tears, pleading, "Take me alive. I'll ransom myself. Treasures cram our house," because he's a rich guy. Treasures cram our house, bronze and gold and plenty of well-wrought iron. Father will give you anything gladly, priceless ransom, if only he learns I'm still alive in Argive ships. Okay, man, he just like rolls over just immediately. Odysseus, quick with tactics, answered, "Courage. Death is your last worry. Put your mind at rest. Come, tell me the truth now, point by point. Why prowling among the ships? Cut off from camp, alone in the dead of night when other men are sleeping. To loot the fallen? One of the fighters' corpses? Or did Hector send you out to spy on our ships, reconnoiter them stem to stern? Or did your own itch for glory spur you on?" All right. Well, he tells him everything. Okay. He just sings like a canary, as I said before. And it's interesting here. You'll see page 291, line 511. There. Now, will you take me to your ships? This is Dolan speaking. Or leave me here, bound and gagged right here, till you can make your raid and test my story, see if I've told you the truth or I've been lying? But rugged Diomedes gave him a grim look. Escape? Take my advice and wipe it from your mind. Good as your message is, you're in my hands now. What if we set you free, or you should slip away? Back you'll slink to our fast ships tomorrow, playing the spy again or fighting face to face. But if I snuff your life out in my hands, you'll never annoy our Argive lines again. Remember, Odysseus just promised death is not to worry here. With that, just as Dolan reached up for his chin to cling with a frantic hand and beg for life, Diomedes struck him square across the neck, a flashing hack of the sword. Both tendons snapped, and the shrieking head went tumbling in the dust. Diomedes cut his head off. Whew. So they took all his stuff, his hat, wolf pelt, bow, and he said, "Here, goddess, Athena, rejoice in these, they're yours. You're the first of all the gods we'll call. Now guide us again, Athena, guide us against that Thracian camp and horses." They go in, Diomedes goes back to killing Trojans, kills like 12 of them. Odysseus is pulling them away. They take horses and a car, chariot, head on out. All right. And when they come back with great laughter. You know, and it says, I mentioned earlier, it says while they're doing this, they're like lions pouncing, okay, like a lion. All right, I wanted you to get that. They come back, great laughter. They've done this. They pats on the back, hand clasp. Yeah, you guys are the guys. You're the men. All right, 652. Line 652. And across the trench, he drove the purebred team with a rough, exultant laugh as comrades cheered, crowding in the wake. And once they'd reached Diomedes' sturdy lodge, they tethered the horses there with well-cut reins, hitching them by the trough where his stallions pawed the ground, champing their sweet barley. Then away in his ships, stern Odysseus stowed the bloody gear of Dolan in pledge of the gift they'd sworn to give Athena. The men themselves, wading into the sea, washed off the crusted sweat from shins and necks and thighs, and once the surf had scoured the thick caked sweat from their limbs, and the two fighters cooled, their hearts revived, and into the polished tubs they climbed and bathed. And rinsing off their skins sleek with an olive oil rub, they sat down to their meal, and dipping up their cups from an overflowing bowl, they poured them forth, honeyed, mellow wine to the great goddess Athena. All right, so yeah, Diomedes may have made a wise choice taking Odysseus with him, because Athena helped him out. They attribute it to Athena. Anyway, either way, Athena gets the glory here as they drink their wine as they've pulled back into the camp. All right, so that's where we end book 10. We will move on to book 11 after this, so be reading, be annotating, and please, as always, happy reading. Thanks. See you later.